Hello survivors, I'm the SurvivalVis, and welcome to the demo for Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. Now, the Steam Summer Games Festival is ongoing, and it dropped a bunch of demos for upcoming games that are going to be looking to release 2020, but let's be honest, with the great year it's been so far, more likely going to be possibly next year. And this is a new simulator game that's going to kind of replicate or simulate fossil digging and fossil hunting. Now, I did try to do an episode of this before. I do have to say the tutorial and the early stuff does need a lot of work, but we're going to see what potential there might be beyond that. So I'll probably cruise through a lot of the stuff to start with, but we'll go into new game, and we'll just kind of go slowly along everything. There's a little bit that doesn't even need to be included. There's another one that's actually not bad because it persists later into it. But all in all, I do admit that it could use a lot of refining work. Just gotta wait for it to load. And I will do a little bit of helping to guide, because the first time I tried doing a recording of it, I got completely stuck within a few little bits, or a few minutes in, because of just, they don't explain a lot in the tutorial. So we'll just have to give it a moment or two. We should see it start coming into everything we want in just a moment here. I hope so. Okay, there we go. Yeah, big start button in the middle. So, not finished yet. Active development contained bugs and performance issues. There are also missing features. If you want to share your opinion with us, please visit our Discord channel. That's something... it kind of bugs me a little bit. Because one of the things that I liked about Steam is that it actually has its own discussion forum. If you have any product on there, you had a forum attached to it, so you could leave stuff there, but it's basically saying, we're not going to get your opinion from that at all. We're not going to read that at all. We only want it through this channel here, so it's just something that irks me a little bit sometimes. You have a means out there, it's one of your most distributed things, so... Okay, but we'll take a little look around here. This is just a random little bit to teach you the controls moving forward, backwards, stuff like that. There are some interesting fossils, I believe to allosaurs because of the little crests just ahead of the eyes there. I'm pretty sure that's what those the bone rings are. There's something like the socket for the eyes in a way. I don't know what the sauropod is. We got an ankylosaurid, I don't think it's actually Ankylosaurus because there's no club tail. I thought that was something Ankylosaurus was a little more trademark, for kind of setting it apart. We got two little, I think ornithopods might be the name for the kind of, family? God, I don't remember the, kingdom, phylum, etc. down there, but anyway, we're going to speed through a lot of the earlier stuff because there is quite a bit to actually show off in the demo so far. Your museum is starting to run out of free space, and you think you've started, huh? I don't know. Like I say, this is a weird one to start you off at. And this is another bit that... When I was 4 years old, I loved to draw dinosaurs. This is one of the bits where I feel like it's not really exactly necessary. Oh, you can actually... Okay, so yeah, you actually have to pick up the pencil itself. And you literally are just drawing by the numbers, really. Got a little bit ahead there. This is probably about my artistic ability in real life, as you guys probably... Oh. I don't think I want that. One more? Okay, there we go. Yeah, everything you kind of need for a control scheme is going to be in the top left corner, so my face will, as with all the other videos I've been doing or working on, I think it's going to mainly stick to the right side of the screen. Just that way it gives that appearance of, I am looking at it right alongside you guys. I think one thing that this little bit, I suppose, does well is it probably captures and taps into a lot of where a lot of people's just fascination with dinosaurs, prehistoric creatures probably stemmed from. It's just as a kid you got these dinosaur coloring books, or toys, or pictures, stuff like that. Wait, how did I miss... Okay, well, there we go. And right-click just to drop that. Okay, so we'll continue there. Like I say, it's one of the smaller minor things. I don't know if you need included or not. It just, I guess, is a bit of flavor. One of the most exciting days of my life. When I was 8, I found my first fossil. Now, this is one of the ones where There's... Okay, well, there's no message right now, but you can see you can run, jump, etc. Everything kind of expect from first person in a way. The only problem I have is how you... it doesn't really show you how to inspect these. What you're supposed to do is when you pick it up, you actually click and hold the left mouse button, and that'll let you kind of rotate and examine the stones. For some reason, it doesn't let you here. And as we'll go along, it almost like arbitrarily throws you to say this is randomly a fossil. I think it's supposed to be lying somewhere up ahead here. Yeah, it stops you right here. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, it stops you and locks you onto it without giving you any real way of interacting too much of it to say, like, oh, that's actually sticking out quite a bit. What is that? So that's a minor issue I have with it there. I also do apologize if the webcam footage it looks a little laggy. It seems like it's coming through a bit different for me. Let me do a little... Okay, no, I guess it depends on what's going on graphically. I actually did have to lower the graphics on the game footage, so that way we could try to avoid that, but lost the fossil 6 months later. Age of 14, nearly all I could think about was putting together and painting dinosaur models. I was getting better at it. Now this is where I think the tutorial does a really good job tapping into that little nostalgia, if you want to call it. When it comes with a manual, it's dead simple. And it's basically just click and plop into place there. There are some... what is it? I think it's A and D? Yeah, it takes a little bit before it might want to rotate for you, but it will. And it's basically just kind of click and let them fall into place. There's nothing too in-depth I've really found for this stuff, but again, it's a nice little way of just kind of having that nostalgia of reminding you of why it's... You may enjoy dinosaurs in your past childhood in a way quite a bit. I don't think I actually had models like this. I know I had the, like, hard plastic toys of them, though. This one's tougher, no manual, but I got the sketch at least. Like, this one's not really any different than anything else. The only thing is that you... It's basically just that you are figuring out where they go and hovering over each little section yourself now. That's one of the front limbs, that's the other front leg. Okay, you... Oh, you're on the back there. We've got to spin you again for your other leg. There we go. The nice thing about this little section is that it will relate back after you kind of found a few fossils. You actually will get to clean off, prepare, and assemble the skeletal, or the remains that you find. Now it's time for the real fun. No manuals, no sketches. Just sheer knowledge and skill. And the head, that's basically the tail from looks at that one. That, I think, is a flank. Oh, no, that's actually part of the body. My mistake. Oh. Okay, that's the middle area there. We got one of the leg. Oh, no, that's actually part of the leg. That's right. Now we do have a foot. And the other foot. There we go. Might as well get the tail tip. And there's the shoulders, so we can put on his little arms. You can tell it's definitely a Tyrannosaur with how small the arms seem to be. And I think the two-pronged fingers is another dead giveaway. I don't think there are many dinosaurs that actually had just the two-pronged, or the kind of two-finger for their appendage there. God, don't know why it was so hard to get that out, to be honest. I guess I just want to get through this pretty quick because I've done it before, show you guys some of the more engaging parts of the demo. We have to use some more practice mill one again. No, we're good, so we'll skip. I even won the local talent show once. They loved my Triceratops. A couple of years later, the money I got as a reward in that competition turned out to be of an invaluable help. Adventure of a lifetime in your 20s. Well, I think it's possible. I was exactly 20 years old when I found an article about a paleontological group in a newspaper. Turned out they needed volunteers who were willing to work at the north of the country. It was a long shot, but I didn't want to miss such a great opportunity. I took a risk and signed up for the job. As you probably imagine, it paid off. Yeah, so this is where it's going to be proper fossil hunting with things, so it's going to pick up quite a bit of pacing here, but this is also where the tutorial messages in the top... Actually, I guess you won't really be able to see them, or I'll throw my head down somewhere so you can see them. They can be pretty misleading and confusing. So, welcome to the area. A few weeks ago, miners came across what seemed to be fossilized remains. The workers and the board directors who are behind the mine aren't happy about that, so we gotta get them out. They seem to perhaps be the bones of an ornithomimus, so they had to leave, but according to reports, there are still fossils in their dig site area. Job is pretty easy. Head to the area marked on your map and leave no stone unturned. Area's marked on your radar as well, so you shouldn't have any problems finding it. The off-road car parked nearby is fueled and ready. Hope your work will be fruitful. With your help, they will complete the full skeleton for our new museum. And a little bit of a checklist of what bones to be looking for. Well, I say bones, but they're more like general area of sorts. Because there's a lot of stuff actually in there to find. And here's the map, you can right-click and put where the things are. That, I think, will probably be the big one, is if you do see that kind of bubble on the map, right-click it so that we get a pointer put on there. So we don't need that anymore. And we got our vehicle all loaded up here. This is sort of the base camp where I guess you kind of prepare and just do a few minor field observations before it be out. Okay, so enter the vehicle. Now it says follow the pointer on the compass. We had to manually put the pointer there. So I've never found the pointers or anything to show up for you. So it's mostly just going to be follow the roads until they kind of take you where you're going. And there are going to be a few minor things they'll kind of have you do... Ooh, no, wait. That's right, that's the wrong way. I made the same mistake last time I did the demo too, as I thought that was the way to go. But we want the excavation area over this way. And they will put a couple of minor things on the route just to, I guess, kind of show off more of the in-depth they're trying to take with the experience. Like, we should probably be coming up to... Yeah, there's the first one right up ahead, you can see, is the tree trunk. Or the fallen tree. So, here's the chainsaw. Now, this one is a little weird because it wants to cut in specific spots as much as it doesn't look like it. Let's just keep going, because eventually when we had it chopped down enough... Yeah, like, see, you can sort of see there's a little glitch of where it wanted to. And we can move some of these. Unfortunately, it's not as nice as just a turn and throw. You actually have to either carry it or hold the right click until you have enough power in your throw. I think it might just be because of the engine they used for the game, but it will become a little more annoying further on. And it's not too much further where you'll see why I mean and say that. And it does seem like we're going to have one piece here that's a bit too big to carry out. So, you gotta try to... Oh. There we go. Okay, so that one wasn't too bad that time. The other time I did it is, I seemed to have to almost like turn and change the angle I was facing the tree trunk to get it out of the way. So if you guys do kind of run into these little hiccups, sometimes just changing your position will help. And now we just keep driving along. Yeah, unfortunately, the little tutorial tips, they don't go away once you've completed that. Alright, so... Lock the differential. And you just kind of power through. It's basically just an off-road thing here. I think that's honestly the little bit that you have to worry about. And then... This is the next one. This one, it is a little tedious to do just because instead of being able to hold in mind, you actually have to click every single strike of the pickaxe to do it. The weird urgent thing is also kind of strange to do. Well, we just gotta... Okay, so that's done. And these, yeah, the smallest of the small stones will just disappear on their own, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So that should be us good to... I didn't think that. I guess on hills too you have to. We've already done that. Yeah, so we want the way to the excavation area. So we'll just drive up and follow... I think this is a road. I don't honestly know. Oh... really have no idea if we are on a road or not, but I guess we'll just bump our way down here. Like, I think I had the same problem where I didn't exactly know where the road was, but basically, if you can find what looks like the proper road, just stick with it till its end, and you should keep the tutorial progressing rather steadily. Yeah, and the giant holographic car is exactly where you just want to pull the vehicle up to. And then you just follow what mostly is on screen. Nope, gotta hold the space to do this one. This one takes a while, but you'll start seeing little things like taping going around and little stuff under construction. Yeah, as you can see. It's the next little area just up ahead after this that kind of stumped me the first time I tried on camera. Okay, so everything looks good. We're just a little locked in. So let's open up that message. Oh. Excavation workflow. We've got information, perimeter is already secured, and you can start the research right away. You're well prepared for the job. Your equipment is GPR, ground penetrating radar, because they never actually explained that. And you can scan the ground with a shovel and plaster to secure your findings. Start your work with initial GPR scan. If you find anything, dig it out and secure it with plaster. You'll see further instructions on false transportation in future messages. Now, the GPR is number 4, and one of the problems I have is that for it, you don't get any idea what the scale is on this display of how far it detects out. Like, you can take it and think, okay, well, we'll start up here and go around here for a while and see what we can find. But you don't actually get any way of knowing how much your exact scan area is in front of you. So you could go back and forth all over and try, which is what I spent, I think, around 10 minutes at least trying to do, and I didn't find a single thing. The key is this bundle here, and I'm going to show you just how small the little signatures can be. Like, there's that. So if we take 2 steps back, you don't see it. We take 2 to the right and we go forward, you may see a little bit of it. And if there wasn't this here, you probably couldn't go right by it. I think it'd be better if you could find a way to kind of scale and show how much of the area is actually being kind of scanned by the radar. And it says flags 15 of 15. I think instead of marking where things are, it may be better to actually mark your square of where you want to scan. And then you can go back and forth and kind of figure out your grid of sorts. And if there's nothing in that area for sure, you know you've been thorough. Because it's a pain if you think you've been thorough, but then realize that you missed stuff. So I'm not really going to flag anything, I'm just going to dig down. Oh yeah, and we got our first fossil there. So we can pick that up, and now we'll click to hold and rotate. And you can see the fossilized remains actually encased in the rock here. So now what we do is we put that down, and 6 is your plaster bucket, so it's basically just, again, just click every time to plaster and secure the fossil. Okay, and now, I don't think it ever really says where you're supposed to take it. I thought originally you toss it into the back of the vehicle on its own, but what you actually have to do is you take it and you bring it back to the base camp, and there on these pallets are these large crates. And what you basically do is just go up, put one inside. That one's ready for being moved out, so we can just put that into the trunk of the car, and that would be one secured to be processed. We're going to do that after we get a couple more, because this area, for as big as this area is, there's only this one spot I think there are actually fossils for you to find, so you can spend a lot of time going around up there and over there, and you may not find a single thing like my first time. Oh, we just need the shovel. And oh, there we go, and we just pick up and do a little spin, see if we see anything. If not, you can just chuck the rock away, or drop it, or whatever, just to get it out of your way like that. And we'll spin this one a bit. No, doesn't look like there's anything in this one. So we'll just throw that one as well. Yeah, this one we can just... I do wish it was a little easier to... Oh, actually we can rip them right out of the ground, and we can already see on this one that we do have some embedded fossil remains to it. That might actually be maybe a vertebra. Just because of the way that configuration is. That looks more like a part of the spine than anything, with kind of the fins almost to it. I know there's probably a much more scientific term for it, but that's what I'll do right now for it. So we'll take this along, toss it into the... well, put it into another one of these containers. We won't exactly toss it. I'll try to be gentle because it is a precious fossil. And that closes, so that's 2 ready to go. We just have the 1 more to find. Because we only have the 3 boxes we can work with right now. So we'll just get up here, and we'll just rip another bit of rock out of the ground, and... oh, I don't think I saw anything on this one anyway, so... yeah, this one we can just leave over here. We'll just yoink that out of the ground. It looks like there's nothing to that one as... oh, or maybe. Oh no, it's just the way the light was catching that one edge of it. So, put that one down. And we just gotta do a little bit more digging, see if we can find any more stones like that. In some ways, I like how thorough it is for doing things, and others, though, it's a little bit just of a pain in the rear to do. I think this is just another chunk of rock. Yeah, I don't see anything really to that one, so we'll just dump you right there. I think it's this... yeah, it's the one down here. Don't ask me how we moved this giant sucker. And that's the one we want right down there, so we just need to do a little bit more digging. Well, I thought it might have been. I thought I'd seen something encased in it. Oh, I guess I was mistaken. Okay, so we'll just take this, drop it down there, and use this to go over again and see. Yeah, you can, it's just so hard to find anything that really kind of gives you scale for the radar as it goes along. I don't really see anything, which I'm surprised at. Now, let me examine this rock. We haven't taken a look at it yet. Is this the one that we need? Because there's supposed to be 3 fossils in total to bring back, but I think we've only got the 2 so far. Okay, so that one was a dud. Is this one a dud as well? Yeah, seems to be. And this one, I don't really see anything to it, so we'll drop that one there. What about you? I don't really see anything to this one either. And the GPR... oh, no, there are some more here. Like I say, that is how easy it is to miss things. And why it can be kind of frustrating for you if you go for so long and you can't find a thing. If you have no idea what the scale of the radar actually is, then you're basically out of luck for understanding exactly how far a range it is. I actually had to go on to the store page on Steam to get a sense of how wide of a scan area the radar uses. And with how small it is... nope, hop over that. With the size and how small it is, you definitely will feel like it is a bit to be desired. Okay, so we'll put that in there. And while that's magically levitating inside the storage box, we'll open the trunk up. And we'll continue to defy physics and reality by putting these obviously large boxes into a car that should not be able to handle them. There's the first one. Here's the second. Slide that on in. And there's the last one right there to put on. So, you take it over, put it on the top. Or, well, it throws it to the back and then phases through the car to get there. But anyway, that's that done. With those secure... I honestly thought we would have gotten more tutorials saying what we're supposed to do next. Oh, here we go. Really? You're a little late on the uptake with that, but anyway, once you're done with extracting, securing, drive back to the transport hub, which is, again, open up your map, and you basically gotta put it down yourself. Because it gives you a spot on the map, but it doesn't automatically make it the objective. Why? I don't really know. It just feels a little convoluted, or just trying to pad it a bit. But we got what we want. We also have the magic technology. Uh-oh. I just want to say it is the magic technology of the automatic wooden stick. I was going to say we were going to get ourselves kind of lodged in there if I wasn't careful enough. So anyway, that's done. I might even just off... Okay, I don't know if I can off-road us to get there. Maybe not. It looks like it's super easy to get there too. It's just that there's a few obstacles in the way. Okay, we try off-roading and mess it up. Oh, I think we do, because I recognize this area. Now, this isn't the way we went, so we will have a little bit of clearing to do ahead, but there we go. And no matter which side of the map you go on well, when we get closer to the transport hub, I'll show it again. But both sides of the map have a fallen log and trees you have to clear in order to get back here. Okay. Like, if I should... Oh, let's get the map. Yeah, so you can see both ways will meet up eventually. So I guess my mistake was I took the first right a little too easily. But anyway, we'll take these off now. Okay, so that goes there. We can clear some of those messages out now. Open that up. And that one goes there. And we got the last one here. So this is just the extraction of sorts, or actually the digging and searching. Next, we're probably going to go into the... Yeah, open the tablet, leave the area. So we want to travel back to the museum. And this is where we actually get through the process of... Yes, I want to travel to the museum. I thought I clicked that. This is where we'll get into the process of actually extracting the fossils, cleaning, preparing, and assembling with them. I don't know how much of it will do, because the simulator does want to be realistic, and it will show the realism of how much work and tedium you do have to go through, even more so when you think about the real-life steps you'd have to take for it as well, but... Just gotta let this load on up. Just gonna grab a drink in the meantime. There we go. Okay, so we're able to start again. Yeah, so this is actually the lab. And this is the skeleton they're working on. I see our fossils were just dropped literally anywhere. So to start, you want to take them into this little thing here. I guess it's sort of like the stone box, and what you have to do is basically cut through your plaster to kind of separate it into sections. And I don't know if the sections will matter, but once you get enough or the right kind of configuration or whatever, you will automatically get the next tool, and you just gotta smash the plaster off. Now, this is the step I don't know how realistic it is. You actually take the rock the fossils are encased in, and chip it and break it apart with a hammer like this. I feel like that'd be a big no-no. Because this hammer work beside basically, a completely unique fossil, I don't know if you want to be that brute force with it. But anyway, that's that done. It's over on the table. Okay, I think this is one of the easier ones to work with. So now it's basically, you gotta brush them all off, get as much of the dust in that off as you can. And then one thing to definitely do is to rotate the pieces so you can get more. And when you're done a piece, it'll just automatically go down onto the table. That said, I just have to... Yeah, there we go. So you gotta do this for every single little fossil piece there is that you find. Or you have found and extracted. Which I will give props for the realism behind it. Game-wise, though, as a simulation, it's hard to say how long you will hold out and continue through with it. One of the things you can do is right-click to zoom in on a piece. The only problem is you kind of get locked into this view of it. The only way to really get out of it is actually to leave the station and then come back into it. Like, I can focus on another piece here, but there's not really a way that it shows you to get out of it, I don't believe. I mean, you can zoom... Okay, so maybe zooming out will work. We'll just keep going. We probably will only do maybe this one, just so that way the video is not too long, and with it being a demo, it gives you guys a chance to check it out too. We'll just get that one done. And keep that going. There we go. Start work on this one. Okay, so there's another one done. Almost there. This is just the brushing steps, so be ready for much more to go, to keep coming as we do the cleaning. We'll clean, assemble, and mount it onto the rest of the display, and then we'll probably leave the episode off there. Okay, so now we just have this big one to do. Thankfully, these guys actually go much quicker than the small ones. Okay, and now you spray down the fossils with a solution. I think it's supposed to help kind of clean them off and that. Yeah, sometimes you don't even have to turn them. Others, though, you will. And then we spray them off with that. Keep those going on their way. Okay, next step is... I think this is a little Dremel tool. And I think it's to polish off some of the stone that was loosened off with the solution you spray on there. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what each step individually is, and it'd be really interesting in the comments if anybody does know to be able to help kind of identify the steps of everything here. Because I don't know if this is actually realistic cleaning and processing of fossils, or it's just a little bit of guesswork to what you think you might need to do for it. But we'll keep on going. Sometimes it's nice and easy. There are other times, though, where you'll get... One of them is on the skull fossil that we managed to find, is you actually have to do the kind of like eye socket ring. Actually, both rings, and those have a lot of little subsections to them that you don't think would actually take that long, but do take a little bit of work to do. So just keep rotating. We're almost done these ones here. There we go. Just gotta get this one done next. And we'll do that little bone because we're right beside it there. Now, if you do want to speed run it, I guess you could just kind of like go up and down with the tool as it works, but it also can be a little finicky on where it exactly wants to detect you've done the work and gone over with things. There's that one done. That one's on the way there. Yeah, just gotta get that last bit of... I'm pretty sure this is part of the vertebra because of how the... Oh, actually, yeah, you can even see that it's a spinal column, really, when you compare with the row along the top there, you can really see is evident of that. Okay, that's all good there. Keep going along there, and like that. Okay, next step. No idea what this is. This basically seems like a cutter or maybe a polisher of some kind. That's just getting more dust and debris and stone off of the main fossil you're looking for. There's one thing about fossils is they don't actually have any real biological material. Some very rare fossils do have a bit of that, but for the most part, it's mostly just a stone in the shape of the fossilized remains, or in the shape of what the remains were. There's no real genetic material left behind. Some very rare fossils do have, I think, may have had. Oh, and once again with the spray. Yeah, we'll zoom out a little more. And we'll just spin these, so that way we can kind of give them their last little shots and spritzes. I think there's even one more to go still. Oh, no, that's it. Okay, so now we just have to look at assembling it. And this is exactly where the model from before came into play. So it's basically just about looking for where they may line up. Although, right, this one that kind of gives you the exact spots right off the bat for it. Oh, this is actually the hip bone. My mistake. Okay, so we'll pick you up. We bring you over, and we just click you into place. And that's basically it. Now, I don't know if I will extract the others quickly, because we are a little bit late. But you know what? We'll work towards what looks like 40 minutes on the recording. So let me see what this one is. I'm hoping this is going to be the skull. And I'll show you what I mean by how the tedium of certain parts can be on it. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe it's not the skull, because I don't think that's exactly what I was... Yeah, that's just the hip, no, that's not the hip, that's the arm. Sorry. Okay, and this is where you'll see it gets a little bit more into the tedium of just how much you actually have to brush off these little bits, even though it looks like it should just be one spot and you're done. So we'll probably leave this here. And again, if you want to check the demo out as well, I'm going to leave the link to the Steam page in the description so you guys can take a look. I don't know how long it'll be up for, but I know the event is going to run till the 22nd, so the day before this goes live. Okay, well, here's hoping the demo will still be up by that time. My apologies. That's one of the issues about doing a recording schedule, is it's out when you're ready to record, not so much still when you're done the recording. But anyway, this hopefully will be a little check, or if the demo does get taken down, keep it on the radar in case they do release more to try out yourselves. I do admit I like the idea of it. There is some tedium here and there that I don't know how necessary it is. But I do think it is a cool concept that hasn't really been super done before, so I am going to look forward and keep an eye on Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. It is more simulation game, but it's not one of those... Well, you've seen it's not quite one of those simulation games you might be a little more leery of, because the simulation genre can be both good and bad depending on who the makers are. But this is one I would say to keep watch for and just continue watching along. I do think maybe the tutorials could be a little bit better done, like give us actually a chance to use the GPR in more of a controlled setting, so you can see like maybe a little sandbox or something as a kid you went to a museum and got to try it, etc. like that. Just because out in the field, with how big of an area that was to do your search for, imagine spending 20 minutes going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, all to find out that you were overlapping yourself, or underlapping, or stuff like that. But other than that, it's an interesting demo. I'm very interested in the concept, and hopefully we'll keep track and watch this as it develops, and maybe we'll do a full series when it comes out. Until then, though, thank you guys very much for joining me on another episode, or another video on the channel. If you do like the content, be sure to leave a like or a comment down below, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, though, survivors, please remember to take care and stay alive.